Okay, now it is 7 on the hour, and I want to welcome all of you tonight as we discuss the 7 women you must never marry. Last Sunday, and of course, remember, every Sunday is focused on the family, focused on relationships. Last Sunday, we saw the 7 men you must never marry. We described it. So today we're going to balance it and then talk about the women you must not marry. And when we started today, I shared this post in a couple of places, and there was a slight backlash in on LinkedIn when I said that the modern church, and I said modern church, might be the riskiest place to find a wife. And I said might be for a reason. And I did not say that you cannot find a wife in modern church, but I think it is probably the riskiest, if not the worst place to find. And then you're going to see why as we begin to look at that. And of course, when you come to think about it, the divorce rate and the number of very, very unhappy and toxic marriages within the church is as bad as outside the church. The divorce rate is the same. Is the same, if not more, inside the church than outside. And it's not because it is the church, but it's because of these things that we're going to talk about tonight. So sit tight. You're going to hear things that would indeed help you. Why are we even doing this? Because I have read a couple of surveys and also my conversations with a couple of young men who are absolutely terrified about marriage. The same thing with young women. Very, very terrified about marriage because of the stories and because of the examples that they see out there. And so many young people are deciding to stay unmarried because they feel instead of going into marriage to face the sort of thing that I hear and that I see, like the ones raging on social media in Nigeria right now. Just incredible, very, very sick stories. Very, very sick representation of what marriage truly is. And yet, marriage is perhaps the most beautiful human experience anyone can have. But what went wrong? What went wrong with marriage? Why is it right now that so many people are scared? Why do we have so many sick stories about marriage? So sick is discouraging young people from wanting to build their own families. And then you find so many young women who have settled to being single mothers. They don't want to live with a man, so they just say, well, I want to get pregnant, but I don't want to commit to a man. That is very, very sad. But we will fix it tonight. We'll fix it tonight. So type in the chat, is this something that you are very, very interested in? Or is this something that we should be talking about a little bit more? Type in the comment section. And then please do introduce yourself as you are joining us. And then do let me know the sort of expectations that you have as we dissect this topic. And then there's no better place to begin, as you will see in a moment, than the wise King Solomon, who lived a couple of thousands of years ago. And I call him an authority on women because he had 700 wives, royal wives, and then he had 300 concubines. So if you should listen to an expert on women affairs, I think Solomon is the one to listen to. Yes, Donatus, I see you. Thank you for joining. Victor Odor is here. Victor, you made it. I think I saw your post on LinkedIn indicating your interest on this. So this is wonderful. You are going to have some incredible insights tonight. John Julius, thank you for joining. Okay, now Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. So he saw everything. And then all the things that we're going to be sharing tonight, the 7 women you must Absolutely, on no account. Even if the parents give her to you for free, you should run. You should run. Please, young men in the comment section, type run. Run. Remember, I want you to continue to interact as you hear these things. Interact by typing your comments on the in the comment section. All right, so Solomon came up with this amazing summary for young men. Why did he say this? You see, because men, we are very naive. We are absolutely naive. We know nothing. We think we know. But the women, I believe they are much smarter than us, much more intuitive. They know a lot more. And then, like I said last Sunday when we were considering the men that women should never marry, that every woman who has had a bad relationship knew that it was bad before she went into it. Because women read us like books. They have this insane ability, God-given ability to just look at you, size you up, and make very accurate analysis of who you are. But men, we don't have it. We are so naive. And that is why, and the women know intuitively that we are naive. So the way they are built, their charm is totally irresistible to a normal man. So often, the charm and then the beauty that women have confuse men, totally make dummies out of men. And this is where many mistakes lie when it comes to a man dating a woman and proposing to her for marriage, because we are naive and we are easily deceived by charm and beauty. So 3,000 years ago, this wise king picked it up because nothing has changed. There's nothing new under the sun. So he said, listen, young men, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. We are going to be unpacking this. So this is a very central thought to the things that we're going to be talking about today. Because if you can scale the trap of charm and beauty as a young man, then you might actually have a very cool head to find a very good woman out there. There are very, very good women. Let me guarantee that one. Because a lot of men say we can't find good women to marry. All the good women have been married. There are many good women. But there are even more good women than you have bad ones. But you see, because of social media and because of the way internet, kind of exploded everything, we seem to have the really, really, really bad women out there shouting out loud, showing us their body parts on social media, and then trapping men. Because the moment you are trapped by the charm and the beauty of a woman, you almost become useless, to yourself. So these are the countries that have participated and keep participating in the live sessions, which would last for 1,000 days. If you don't see your country represented here, please do put it in the comment section and then we will update it. So today we are talking about 7 women, the 7 types of women that you must never marry. Don't even touch them. Don't go near them when you are talking about marriage. They can be they can be friends, okay, colleagues and all that. But for marriage, don't go near them. Why am I doing this, and what gives me the audacity to do this? What is my bragging right? I don't have any bragging right other than that I have received incredible blessings and mercy all my life, and I had a remarkable career with Chevron and Shell. So and I've had a spectrum of experiences when it comes to having money, not having it, managing money, entering debt, coming out of debt, and things like that. So I really have a lot of practical things I've experienced in my career. I've also had the very rare privilege. It's not everyone that gets that once in a lifetime opportunity to work with Stanford University And so I had the rare privilege to work with the Stanford University through the Stanford Seed program, where I served as business advisor. And I have had the opportunity to teach hundreds of business owners and business leaders at the Lagos Business School and also China Europe International Business School. My most proud achievement is actually raising a family for 29 years now, raising a family, having a home that is godly, a home that is very, very happy, a home where the children are respectful of the elders, where they take initiative, where they do right. And this is why for the next 1,000 days, the major outcomes we are focusing on is number one, helping you to develop financial skills to become financially independent so you can have time freedom and location freedom and money freedom. And secondly, and then that is to be expected because business owners are my constituents, so I love businesses, I love business owners. So I want to see businesses, especially in Africa, but also in India, Pakistan, South America. So I want to see in the next 1,000 days these businesses scale, okay? And thirdly, I want to build loving families. That's why every Sunday we talk about family, we talk about relationship. And so feel free in the comment section to indicate what you want to know, no matter what it is, on relationship, and then we can always plan subsequent Sunday episodes around where you need relationship help. So I think that this is where a lot of young people are struggling and a lot of marriages are struggling. So we'll be addressing those. Now, tonight's session is not just for the young men, for men, who are looking for a wife. It's also for the women because it's going to give you an idea about the mindset of men and then what they are looking for. So it's actually a mutually beneficial experience tonight, both for men and for women. Just like last Sunday, we focused on the 7 types of men you must never marry. Okay, so and we talked about how you identify men who were likely to be domestic abusers, to be violent, to identify men who were likely to cheat in marriage. We did all those things. So today we are focusing on the women. So the men, you will have clearer understanding of what you want in a partner, because the truth is many men don't know. And then the moment a woman flashes her tender part, the things that they show us, through revealing dresses, through their social media, shaking of their butts and all those dances, you become, what's the word? You become stupefied. You become a dummy. And so many people don't know what they want. They think it's all about the big breast and then the big bottoms and things like that, and then pretty face. And once that one takes you, you are finished. You are finished. And I think many men, because they don't know what they want, because every day I look around me and I see amazing women, amazing single women who are not married. And then there's one, I keep telling my wife, what are men looking for? Because, I interact with these women and they are not married. They are not married in their 30s, in their 40s, and then men, and I'm like, what are men looking for? These are the wife materials, the people that, that any man whose eyes are open, who knows what he wants, should dash straight for. But you see, because men don't know what they want, so anything that dances on TikTok or Facebook and then shows a little bit of her chest and then her backside, you are totally mummified, like we say in Nigeria, and you are totally taken. And then you wonder why your marriage collapses just 2 months. You bring her to the house, within the first 1 week, you're already in hell. So you're going to get clarity tonight. Please type clarity in the comment section. I want to make sure that we're engaging. Everyone, men and women in the room, type clarity. Type clarity. because the men need clarity, the women need clarity. Type clarity in the comment section. All right. At the end of tonight's session, you will also gain clarity on the warning signs to avoid living or in hell on earth, because the best time to avoid divorce, the best time to avoid separation, the best time to avoid marriage heartache is before the marriage, not after. Okay, so you need clarity. And then at the end of tonight, you will also feel more confident in identifying the qualities of a woman that will give you long-term marriage. So I'm going to tell you a true story at this point, and then from there, we will now start looking at the 7 women you must never marry. So it was a couple of years ago, I was invited by a group in Oka to speak at a couples meeting, and I did an experiment. I gave the women post-it notes, so I gave them post-it notes of the same color, maybe like pink or something, I don't remember, or yellow, and then gave the men in the room white. And then I asked them just one question. So I asked the men, what is one thing, the most important thing that you want in a woman? Okay, so I asked them not just one thing. I said, what do you want in an ideal wife? In ideal, perfect wife, what do you want? What do you want them? What is it you want, you're looking for in a perfect wife? Then I asked the women, what do you want in a perfect husband? My life changed that day, because there were several men in the room, but they essentially wrote one thing. You know, they wrote separately. It wasn't a group work, individually. So when they finished, I collected the post-it notes or the paper from the men, and I pasted it on one side of the wall, and then I collected all the responses from the women and posted it on the opposite side. So I told the women, go over to where the men wrote their own, and the women go over to the men go over to where the women wrote their own. Do you know that almost all the things that men wrote, can you guess in the chat what they wanted in an ideal wife? What they wanted in an ideal marriage, in an ideal home, in an ideal wife? Can you guess? Just guess in the comment section what you think that the men wanted the most. And then it didn't matter whether these men were Nigerians or they were Ghanaians or Ethiopians or Americans. I've had the opportunity to interact with men worldwide. You know, I worked in multinational organizations, then worked with Stanford University. So I literally have seen and interacted with nationals, literally from every, and then of course I was on television, where millions of people watched me for 5 years that I was on live television. So I know fairly. Okay, so someone says, Manoye says honesty, okay? Aderity says good posture, okay? Edith said respect. Aderity said beauty. So let me shock you. That usually when I ask it, many people think that it is respect that the men want to. Yes, there were a few of them that talked about respect. But you see, none of you in the comment section has actually said what was the most important thing to men in a marriage. So let me give it to you. Most of the men in the room said peace. They wanted peace, a peaceful woman. Peaceful woman. So ladies, if you actually understand this, because one of the problems that the women have is that they think that real men actually want all these things that they show us. So you go to the salon, you do your hair with 1 million naira, you do all those nails that, then you paint everywhere, paint your face, paint your whatever. Then you wear a skimpy something that reveals half of your bust and your cleavage, is there begging, touch me, begging the whole public, see me, notice me. And then many of you think that that is what real men look for. The problem with you women is that when you do that, you attract the kind of men who will come to you for those things that you are showing them. I am telling you, you attract the kind of men who come to you because you're showing them the cleavage. So men who want cleavage, will come. But because you think that that's what men are looking for. And then I can tell you, men in the comment section, you can also confirm what I'm telling you. Many men hate all those paint you people put on your face, hate all these eyelashes. It's so scary to many men. Men in the chat, you can actually comment. It's so scary to real men is like, why would you put all those things? And then you look terrible in them. You don't even look as beautiful as you are, your natural beauty. But because you think that this is what men are looking for. When I want to get married, for goodness sake, if I see all those long fingernails looking like you're a witch, and then all these things you put in your eyes, and then you're looking really weird, who do you think likes those things? The kind of men that you attract, they are not husband materials. That's why you attract the kind of men that you do. Because real men don't focus on those things. So now I'm going to tell you, I will begin from what is it that men are looking for, and then I'm going to do that by telling them the kind of women that they must never marry. I've been married for 29 years myself. I've got opportunity to interact with many marriages, to interact with many men and with many women. I've seen successful marriages. Many of my mentors are three of them at least in their 90s. Okay, there's Daddy W. There is Daddy Emma Senior, and then there is Okoro, Elder Okoro. They're in their 90s, and they are still married to the same women. Can you imagine being in your 90s and been married for 60-something years? So there's a lot you listen to. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, wisdom is there, or is shouting. But you see, social media is confusing a lot of you, especially this particular generation. So those things you are looking for, they are not the things that will help you, that will build a home. So over the years, I've had the privilege to find out why are people married to the same woman for 60-something years? Why are they married to the same woman for 60-something years? So I, for instance, have been married to the same woman this is our 29th year. 2nd December, we'll make it 29 years to this same one girl. I have never, and I say it everywhere, openly in America, everywhere I go, because I'm really, really very public. I didn't know a woman, what the body of a woman was before I got married. I got married on my 30th birthday, 2nd December 1995. I didn't know what the body of a woman was. I was chaste and she was virgin. And then for 29 years, I've never seen what the body of another woman looks like. So it is possible in our today's world to have a good marriage. But then if you must have that good marriage, these are the things to avoid. Now, let me also say upfront, if you're looking for a good woman, you yourself, the presupposition is that you yourself, you're a good man. So you cannot be looking for a woman who is a virgin, but you yourself, you are going all over the whole place, just messing around, many women. It does not work like that. You reap what you sow. So be very, very intentional about that. So number one, okay, before then, it seems to me also that men tend to marry the mother figure, like someone, if you really had like a very good mother, because it happened to me. My mother raised us 6 boys, and then I remember growing up, I just watched my mother, and I said I want to marry a woman just like my mother. And you see, that desire in my heart was fulfilled because and that's why I don't feel, my mother has passed on, but I don't feel it that much because of the woman I married. So I see her, I see my mother in her. I see the things that it's frightening. The things that my mother used to do, she's doing it without even knowing that. So if you're a mother here, it is important that you model very, very good character, for your children, for your sons particularly, because they tend to be attracted unconsciously to the woman like their mother. Okay, if you're married and then you're in the session, you can also tell me what your experience is. Let me give you one shocking example. My mother, I watched in the 70s, in the 80s while she was alive, anytime that mommy got her salary, she was a primary school teacher, like my father, who was also a teacher. Anytime she got her salary, she took everything straight to my father. On her own, my father did not ask her. She took everything straight to my father. And then she used to say to us, and we were learning, because she used to say to us that this man is working very hard to pay your school fees, to train you people and all that. So she saw herself like a very strong support. Do you know that my wife does exactly the same thing? It's not this type that people say, my money is my money, your money is our money. There are women who talk like that. Not my wife and not my mother. So if you're a mother or you are going to be a mother, be very, very careful to model good behavior, because your son will likely marry someone like you. And then the question I ask some of these women is, would you really like your child to marry a woman like you? Because when it is time for him to marry, you start making trouble because of who you are. Okay, so bonus number 1, and I made this bonus because it affects the men as well as the women. So I'm separating it from the 7 women you should not marry. But do not marry a woman with low self-esteem. I really wish I can explain this very well to you. You see all these timid looking, low self-esteem women, and then because you, a man, is very, very tempting, because we, by our nature, we want to dominate. So when you see a girl that's got low self-esteem, maybe she didn't even have as much education as yourself. You go to the village, she's timid, she's shy, she has low self-esteem, and then you go and marry her because you as a man, you're saying, these city girls are very, very difficult to control. So I have to go to the village to find a wife. Breaking news. That low self-esteem girl will finish you, will kill you. You see, because she's very insecure. Very, very insecure, and then emotionally unstable. You've got to, you're going to do a lot of carrying, and then her insecurities can lead to a very codependent relationship, which you don't want. And she can be very, very jealous and clingy to you. These are the kind of people that when you marry them in the village and bring them to town, you will be shocked. Your phone, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Who is that girl? Who is that woman? You will find yourself in hell. So don't marry someone. I have seen it happen. A girl was married by a man and then brought into a family of really very high accomplished people. And this woman is like the guy married really beneath him, which shouldn't have been a problem if the girl had, healthy self-esteem. Of course, that marriage collapsed because she just couldn't cope with the quality of life and then the confidence that was demanded of her. And then when you bring someone of a low esteem to town to meet your people, business partners, you are having cocktail, and then you bring this village girl with low self-esteem, you are finished. The shame and embarrassment that she's going to create for you, you can't handle it, okay? So don't marry a woman with low self-esteem. Number 1, the first woman, the type of woman you must never marry is the immoral woman. How can you tell an immoral woman, an immoral girl? They are all over the place. You can tell from her social media posts, you can tell from the things that she posts and from her comments. You can even tell, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. If she's very immoral, she's, laughing at immoral jokes, telling immoral jokes herself and things like that. Then the worst thing is that when you go near to her to befriend her, she will start using her sexuality, because that's all she knows and all she has to manipulate and control you. So men, that's why the pressure to have sexual intimacy before marriage is terrible. It's going to mess you up. There have been many times men fell into that trap of the immoral woman, and then she gets pregnant for you, and you are stuck for life, and you can't get away from it. So beware of the promiscuous girl. She's promiscuous, and then you yourself, a woman, if you're promiscuous, the easiest way to make a man or to make men to lose respect for you is to sleep with them. And then there have been times when the guys are drinking somewhere or they're watching football and they're talking about, this girl, Amaka, we did this, and they'll be describing what you did with them. And then another person, their friend, will say, now wow, I knocked the same girl 2 weeks ago or something, whatever. And then, but she's targeting you to marry her. She's using her sexuality to do that. Why should you avoid that? Because relationships built on manipulation are doomed to fail from the beginning. Because if she manipulates you with sex, the thing is, when you get married, it might be available to you right now. So she's trying to give it to you, but you'll be shocked, because I've met men who got married like that. And then they tell me, like one particular one told me he's not had any sexual relationship with this same girl for 2 years. She wouldn't let him. Yeah, because if she gets you through manipulation, you're finished. So there'll be trust issues and betrayal in such relationships. So guys, a healthy relationship is built on trust and mutual respect, not manipulation with her sexuality. So if you're a man and you cannot control yourself, you cannot control your urges and control yourself, you are putting yourself in very serious harm's way. The second woman you should never marry is a woman who is disrespectful. How can you tell a disrespectful woman? It's very easy to tell. You see, when you're talking in the public, or people are talking, she's rolling her eyes at them. She's, looking at them, looking them up, and very disrespectful. And then also when they open their mouth, they use languages, they talk in a way that a woman, a decent woman should not speak. And then some young women disrespect their parents. They disrespect friends and strangers and guests. And I'm telling you, if she does it to other people, be certain that she will disrespect you. So she might feign to respect you, maybe because you have some money, you have some good job or something, so she doesn't want to. But in your conversations, you hear her disrespecting other people. When you get married, that disrespect dagger, she will turn it on you. So don't marry a disrespectful person. She may also occasionally compare you with other men. I've heard women say things about their husbands that should never be said. Okay? Lack of respect breeds contempt and resentment. And then respect is important for a man in marriage. Very, very important for a man. And then, so if you get married to somebody who will constantly compare you, look at where we're living, but look at Kola. Kola is living in Lekki Phase 1, they just moved from VGC into their own house, and look at you, and that's disrespectful. Okay? So, without respect, a relationship is doomed to fail. And then respect is actually mutual. So, it's not just about, we're not talking about worshiping you, because you don't really want a woman who worships you, because that's the danger. You don't want, you are not God. So you're not looking for somebody or a slave or somebody to worship you. But we're just talking about respect as value, as a basic value. If she didn't get it from her home, from where she came from, where she was raised, there's a big problem. Number 3, run from these feminists. Run from these feminists. You cannot survive them. They're these extreme feminists. Okay? I just see them and I laugh at this because they have no idea. Because in marriage, the issue of equality does not even arise. But rather, you should be talking about responsibility. See, the man cannot be a woman. And you, the woman, cannot be the man. They are different. It's not a subject of equal. I don't know who introduced this so-called gender equality thing, because it's an unnecessary war. It's an unnecessary war. Our parents, grandparents had incredible relationships with mutual respect and all that. And nobody stood up one day and said, you have been the man, so now I'm also going to be the man. You cannot be the man. Even if you're the one, the breadwinner, even if she's the one, she's earning more than you. That cannot make her the man in the house, So beware, because these extreme feminists, you see them all over the place on LinkedIn, and and then there's just something about them and the way they write and the way they reason and think that is just extremely, and I think I would suggest that for some of you ladies who are also extreme feminists, in the room, go and look at they are repentant feminists all over the place and listen to their videos, what they have made themselves. They are very, very unhappy with themselves and their lives. They broke their marriages and all that. And then some of them, I heard one of them the other day crying what she did to herself. Oh, she lost a good man. And then one was saying, these people feminism, I'm doing it no more. That thing is demonic. Demonic. Where did it come from? A man is a man, a woman is a woman. And there are roles and responsibilities. So these feminists always view men as adversaries rather than partners. Marriage is not war. It's not a war of gender. You are partners, to support each other to become the best that God has made you to be. Which one is all this? You're competing with men. And then you see them, when they're talking, they hate men more than they hate Satan. And they're very, very aggressive. When it comes to their feminist thing, they are so aggressive and all that, and just unreal. Avoid them, because it can create division and constant conflict in the house. I know a friend of mine, he moved the family to, so let me not be very specific. He might be watching, I will see this and all that, abroad. And then the eye of the woman opened, and he's the one supporting, paying everything over there. And then this woman starts telling him to sleep on the couch. Starts commanding him to go and wash place. That's horrible. Command him to wash. I wash place. I don't need to be whatever. There's no. So beware. Beware of these extreme feminists. Your marriage will not survive it, because I don't know any real man that can take their BS. Number 4, forget a quarrelsome girl, quarrelsome woman. If she's quarrelsome, forget that one will kill you. No man can survive a quarrelsome wife. I have never seen, and in fact, right from the ancient times, King Solomon said that it is better to live in a desert, find yourself some corner, shade in the desert, and escape and run away there, than to live with a woman who nags. Men, we are not built to survive nagging. No real man can survive nagging. Nagging drives men insane to commit suicide. Nagging from their wives drive men who were gentle as a dove to become domestically violent on the woman. Nagging, you can't and if she's nagging, now that you are colleagues and all that, and then you attend the same church or something, and she's nagging, she will not stop. Remember last week I told you, in the case of the man, I said marriage does not change the man. So don't say you will marry him and then change him. It's the same thing. If she's quarrelsome, aggressive, and angry, and then she thrives on drama, conflict, every simple conversation always turns into argument with this girl, run for your life. You cannot stand it. Okay? Are you getting value? Are you getting value? Type value in the comment section. The 5th woman you must avoid is the high maintenance woman. I remember when I was getting ready to find a girl to date and marry. I had this girl, I really, I think in the Gen Z language now, but that wasn't our language in those days. I had a crush on her. Oh, everywhere I saw this girl, I just lost my senses. I really loved her, liked her very much. And I don't know, her brother was my friend. And I don't know if I don't know how he noticed, because we never discussed it. One day he just looked at me and said, "Ogbo, let me tell you the truth. that my mother will allow you to marry my sister, but that you have to have a banking license and that you also have to have an oil mining license. So that that my sister is high maintenance. So I will not say you should not go, but you must have a because in those days, those were the days that they were giving banking licenses, merchant banks and all these banks, and then they were the biggest people. Say you must have banking license, and then you must also have an oil company yourself. And I wasn't even working in Shell at the time. So be very, very careful about materialistic women who will do everything for money, everything and anything for money. I'm telling you, if you get broke by any chance and you don't have money, this woman can go and sleep with people, big men, and get money and then have no regard. I've also known a woman who the husband was struggling to pay school fees, pay everything. She had the money. She told me she had the money, but she still had to make the man to send them on a summer trip. And she had no regard. She made the man suffer. So the man was running around looking for where to borrow money because she said she must travel, with the. I'm telling you, there are people like that. She had the money because she had a thriving business. The husband was suffering. And then she just told me casually, did I ask him to marry me? He married me now. So, and then, this is his children, his wife. So he must. Be very, very careful. These people are this type of woman is always focused on material possessions. There's no, or financial gain. No amount of money is enough for her. Nothing you do for her is enough. Okay? And she's also frequently comparing your financial ability with other people. And always look at the car, this is your Camry. It's 2003 now. I see Emeka just got 2024 something. Beware, run for your life, okay? A materialistic woman will never be satisfied. There's nothing you do for her that she will be satisfied. And then she views you as an ATM, not as a husband. So anytime you fall into a hard time, like the one that is raging on social media now, the man fell into a hard time and the woman just abandoned him and things like that. She will leave. These women tell you clearly, I'm not here to suffer. And then they don't care how you make the money. They don't care how. These kind of women can push you to do things you normally wouldn't do. You start doing crime because you have to satisfy her. You start doing crime, or you join politicians or you join cult. She doesn't care. Whatever you want to join as long as you bring the money. Do not marry. Run for her. Now, the sixth woman you must never marry is the lazy and dirty woman. Both of them go together. My friend, you cannot survive a dirty household. Hey, most men are living in here because they go out and then they come. The house is just dirty, smelling. Plates that were used to serve food the night before. You come back from work. The plates are still in the sink. The kitchen is horrible. Water everywhere. Mold. Hey, you cannot survive it. The girl might be very beautiful. Her statistics might be fantastic and things like that. And then you are proud of her. Now you are seeing her. She's the most beautiful girl in Lagos and things like that. And she's good, and all that. If she's lazy and dirty, you cannot cope because a man needs an organized home. I can't tell you how I feel. Anytime I travel out and come back, and I come in and I see my house so neat. In fact, I'm the one who scatters the house. So whenever I travel out, she arranges everything and I come back, the bed is just sparkling. I like white. She knows what I want. She puts the white on the bed and then puts a card there. Welcome home, sweetheart. Sometimes I've come back and I've seen flower on the, oh my God, everywhere is neat. You touch the toilet, everywhere is neat. If you marry the opposite, she's lazy and dirty, you will not survive. Men hate dirty environment. I know that women also hate dirty environment, but if you run into a woman who is dirty, she doesn't wash her clothes, you enter her house, where she lives, her room, everywhere is disorganized. She might be beautiful, she might sing very well in choir, she might pray well. If she's lazy and dirty, Run for your life, okay? A clean, well-managed home is crucial for peace and for a happy life and for good thinking. Because once the quarrel begins about her laziness and her dirtiness, it will not stop, okay? The seventh kind of woman that you should never marry is the unkind and mean woman. See, my mother and my father, every season, every ceremonial season, like it's Easter or it's Christmas or something, New Year, usually, my mother and father will package things, food, rice. This is as far back as the 1960s and then 1970s, all throughout their lives as I knew them. Without fail, they will package. I still remember when they used to buy the tin tomatoes, buy onion and all that, and then they package it and then give us so you can imagine 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. We grew up seeing our mother's generosity to people. And then she started her career as a wife, as a midwife, as a nurse, before she went into teaching after the war. And then I witnessed how many people came to give birth in our house. And then they didn't have money. Mom did not charge them anything. Sometimes she would even buy the baby things. Many children were born in our home, free. If a woman is unkind, don't marry her. So if she displays lack of generosity and no compassion, a woman who doesn't show compassion, it's terrible. The other day, a woman, I think it's somewhere in Ibadan, slashed the husband's neck and killed him. I mean, what unkind and mean women can do, men cannot do it all. That's why, you see comments like I saw this evening, they say after the devil or something, or after God, fear women or something. They say that some men say they fear women more than they fear the devil. This is a very common comment. It's not all women. They are talking about these mean and unkind women. Because if you jam an unkind woman, she would watch you suffer. If you are sick, she will watch you suffer in that place and die. And while you are suffering, she's making plans, she's making plans with her girlfriends, with her brothers and sisters and all that, or how they will take advantage of you. These things I'm telling you are common stories. See, the man, falls sick, and she's not making any efforts to help you to recover. Okay? So she displays lack of generosity. She speaks very harshly to you and also cruelly to other people. Avoid her, because unkindness and lack of compassion destroy the emotional bond in marriage. And once that bond is destroyed, you have no marriage. In fact, without kindness, marriage is impossible. So these are the 7 women you must avoid. But before we end tonight, let me put some caveats. Let me give you some 4 important considerations. It's not all women who fit some of these descriptions I've given you, some of them, that will have a problematic relationship. It's not all women. Many times it is those ones who look like they are carefree, loose. It's actually those ones who look carefree and loose sometimes that can make some very good wife material. So you've got to really be very, very intuitive and know what you're looking for. And then the ones you see who always cover their hair, cover their head, they are holy, and they wear something from the neck to the toe. Sometimes those ones are they are worse than the ones who just come out there. Maybe that's the way they grew up in their house. Their mother didn't teach them, so they dress anyhow. So sometimes it might not necessarily be that these women are problematic. Are you getting value? Type in the comment section. All right. So what you want to do is focus on the values, shared values. We had a lot of conversations, my fiancée, when she was my fiancée, and myself. We needed to understand each other's preferences. We needed to understand our different backgrounds. We needed to have those conversations around shared values. And we had very deep shared values. We had shared value of no premarital sex. She had that value and I had it. So you can imagine if you find a girl who is saying, I want to make sure that the thing is alive, so we must sleep. It's going to be a problem if I have that kind of value of I don't want to have sex before marriage. And then I meet someone who says, we must have it, or I have to make sure that the thing can rise. There are women like that. I hear people. A friend of mine had exactly this experience that I'm telling you. So values conflict is a big problem. My wife also had the value of godliness like I did, and then we talked about, mission and things. There was a lot of alignment. So focus on that. So sometimes a girl can have some of these 7 things I've talked about, but still be a better wife material than the ones who are doing holy, but inside they are snakes just waiting to strike. Haven't you heard stories where somebody married this beautiful, gentle woman? In fact, one comes to my mind immediately of someone close. Very gentle, beautiful. Everybody was saying, oh, what a beautiful girl and all that. But there were also some fellow women who told that man, and went to the family, say, don't marry this girl. Of course, the man went and married. Since that time till now, it's like living with a cobra in the house. So sometimes those things might be there. Look beyond those things. Focus on shared values. Most importantly, the third consideration is if 2 of you are willing and genuinely striving for growth, spirituality, personal growth, and then you're actually actively noticing personal issues and then addressing them, please go for it. Somebody who knows this is my weak area and I'm working on it. Yes, I know I need to be a little bit more compassionate. She knows it and she's working on it. She's making effort to go out of her way, to go to the orphanage, to visit people, to do things. Please marry that one than the one that that you are not sure of. Okay? So because the other thing, and I have to be very, very careful while I'm saying it, because it is not your fault if you come from a broken home. But sometimes if you see a person who comes from a broken or a very, very troubled home carries a lot. If you're a man and then you are not able to do the homework, you can't just cope because there's a lot of homework to do. If you can't, leave her alone. If somebody comes from a troubled home, the same thing applies to the man, because many times you see that thing is generational. The great-grandfather divorced, the father divorced, married 3 times. Now, you are now marrying this one. Is a problem. Okay? So don't take those things lightly. But if she is really, really willing, she's a growth-oriented person, really willing to learn and to change, please go ahead and get married. And then number 4, challenges they are normal. So don't just say you want to marry perfect. You will not find anybody who is perfect, because you yourself, you are not perfect. So don't wait for the perfect girl, because you won't. But just before you get married, be aware of things to address, things that might be potential conflicts. Handle it ahead of time, and then if you are unable to handle it, seek guidance. I had mentors, I had people that I ran to anytime that I got into a situation in my relationship that I hadn't been in before. Okay, so these are the 7 women you should not marry, and this is where we are going to end it tonight. Now, I wanted to share this widely, because if you look at social media, like in the Nigerian social media today, there's this story about somebody, I forget their names, but there's a couple. The guy lost his job where he was working or something. The woman moved out, and there's a whole lot of dragging, like they call it, on the internet, and it's so dirty. It's so sick. Those are the kind of things that people shouldn't be reading and all that. But you see, that thing, people are looking at it because there's nothing like this one. If you don't have the positive ones, people people will now share the negative ones, and then it will look like there are no marriages succeeding because you seem to hear more about marriages that are having trouble. And because somebody, a Dochi, I don't know what they call him again, because I don't read those things, because he's a celebrity, his own, every day people are reading all these sick stories, very sick stories about sick people and sick marriages. And then they are not hearing stories like our own, like my own, like the many good marriages out there. And then it looks like the bad marriages are more than the good ones. But they actually believe strongly there are good marriages. I'm in the neighborhood. You see people doing things together, husband and wife jogging, doing things together, laughing, walking with their children. You could see sign of health. But you don't get to read those things on the social media. So everyone who has been on this call, share this. I want everyone, take a moment immediately after this, share it widely. Let people hear. Let people know that it is possible, to build a good home.